Hey fans, we're live at the Clubhouse by Gateway Golf for Troops Trio, episode number 6, brought to you by Sports Illustrated Ticketing and Happy Dad, with our guest today, Parker Vaughan. And right now, our host, Matt Sookram.
Thank you, AJ, and welcome once again to Troops Trio, proudly sponsored by the City of North Bay, the Boat North Bay, the Fox and Fiddle, the Moose Cookhouse, and our host tonight, the Clubhouse at Gateway Golf. Thank you so much for having us back here at this awesome venue in downtown North Bay. We've got an awesome crowd out here tonight. If you've never been to the Clubhouse at Gateway Golf, make sure you stop on by in the next few weeks. You don't want that golf swing to get rusty, especially now as the weather cools. Bob, you know all about that. You're an avid golfer. Gateway, the Clubhouse at Gateway Golf, one of the best ways to keep in golf shape once the golf course is closed, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because it's such a depressing time of year, right? You can't get out on the course. All the courses are closed. I think one's open now, maybe. And so it's good to get out here, keep your swing in tune, and so that when next spring rolls around, you're ready to go.
Ranch, are you a golfer?
I'm a charity golfer, so maybe once or twice a year I go out and do that.
And that's a good charity you give to the golf course when you hit it in the bush. Right?
That's right. Yeah, I donate golf
donates
balls.
lots of golf balls.
Yeah, throw the odd club into the pond and.
That's exactly it. Well, Ranch, great to have you back. Missed you last week. It was great for Derek Lindemann to fill in, but Bob and Ranjan back here. The Troops are coming off a 3-game weekend, so let's dive right into that. They went 1-2 on the weekend. A really nice win at home over the Peterborough Petes, but a couple of losses on the road against Brampton and Kitchener. What are you guys' overall thoughts on the weekend, first of all?
I thought the two road games were different than the home game. The home game, I think, was back and forth, very exciting. The fans were really into it. A couple of strange calls with review in that game, and we had to wait. Parker Vaughan, our guest tonight, said, "Hey, ref, I scored," and they didn't count the goal, and then they went over to review it. They listened to Parker, I guess, and looked at it, and it was the game winner, right? He got his first 2 goals of the season. It was great to see him and get a chance to talk to him about that. And I think on the weekend, the team played really well.
Yeah.
They're just a little snake bitten around the net, I thought. Overall, the defense was good. The goaltending, you had Jack Lisson on Saturday and Mike McIver on Sunday. And so I think there were 2 solid efforts. Didn't get the points they wanted, of course, but and it's all about winning. You want those wins. But I think they're starting to show the depth and the character they have.
Yeah, so good points, Bob. I agree with you. I think the Battalion are playing really good hockey, and they have 7-7 record. 7 losses, as you go down the list of them, are mostly 1-goal decisions. And so at some point you're going to look back in the season and say, you're building some character in these tight games against really good competition. The other thing I would say is, the first month of the season is over, and now we're getting into the meat of the season. Teams are getting better. Coaches are getting their systems in place, and so there are no easy nights out there, and there's a lot of parity in the league. So whether you're playing Peterborough, and even Sudbury, who North Bay's beaten twice this year, are starting to come around. They had a good result with an 8-2 win over Peterborough. So there are no easy nights, and it's a tough league to get a W in. But a 7-7 record at this point, I think I'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, it's either been 1-goal losses or 2 goals, and the extra goal is that empty net goal that the team picks up on, which Kitchener did in that game at the Odd. And I think, Bob, you and I were talking about it. That was probably one of the more complete games that the Battalion have played. They just couldn't beat Kirsch, right, in net. And he's a drafted goaltender in the OHL, and it's very rare to catch him on an off night. But I think they made him work, and there were some times that I really thought that they were about to break it open, especially on some of those penalty kills. They had some of their best chances while they were shorthanded, and that's just showing that this team is trying to get that 60 minutes in. Just sometimes they're running into a hot goaltender.
Well, I think Kitchener is a tough place to win. I mean, they're planning to host the Memorial Cup in a year or so. And they want to beat out Guelph for that honor. And so they're really developing their talent. And it's a tough place. The Battalion have had trouble there in the past. And I thought they were the better team for most of the game, I thought, especially the first 2 periods on Sunday. And Kitchener had a little pushback in the third, but Battalion had, and it looked like Kitchener had the game in control. They pushed back, so it was a 1-goal game, but there was an empty netter in there, and so it's a tough place to win. A couple of the tough buildings in the league, Kitchener, London, so I think the Battalion got a lot of confidence in their performance on Sunday.
I think the Rangers have mad respect for the Battalion right now.
Yeah.
5-on-5 goals, Rangers got none. Just 2 power play goals, and an empty netter. So I think there's a lot to build on for North Bay for that result. And I think teams respect the Battalion for their work ethic. And once you start getting the offense going, moving from maybe average 2.5 to 3 goals a game or 3.5, you're going to start adding W's. And obviously the defensive side of the game, the play without the puck, is really impressive, keeping some of these teams that have powerful offenses, keeping them at bay.
And they also had to think on the fly, right? Because Ryder Cali got hurt in Saturday's game, and then they had to, I think they played with 11 forwards on Sunday, so they had to adjust, and can ask Parker Vaughan about that. He had different line mates throughout the weekend, and how with 11 forwards you have to make those adjustments, and so I thought, I think it's a work in progress for sure.
Now he has no line mates. I was just talking to him before the show because Cam Warren's going to the U17 tournament.
To play with.
Must have been something that Parker
I think
said.
they'll give him a couple. Though. I don't think he's losing 2 line mates.
Just before we get to Parker Vaughan, let's from your perspective, let's talk about the goaltending. I thought this weekend was really indicative of how the Battalion have sort of had like an embarrassment of riches in goaltending over the last couple of years, and this weekend proved it as well. I thought both Mike McIver and Jack Lisson were excellent in net when called upon. Yeah,
so I love talking about the goalies, and I love that Dash auction now, the goalie mask.
We're going to see it later. AJ has one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was looking at it. It's up to $500, so it's starting to move into Bob Cole's stratosphere for bidding.
Right.
And but no, the goaltending. So Jack Lisson comes in relief of McIver on that game against Peterborough. We had a 2-0 lead. Ryan Olehan didn't like the way it was going. Now Peterborough up 3-2. There's no indictment of the way McIver was playing. It was more of a message to the bench about how they're playing in front of their goalie. Jack Lisson comes in, makes 27 stops, faces 28 shots. You couldn't ask more out of your reliever like that. And then a good solid effort in Brampton, I thought, by Jack as well.
I've always liked the way Coach Houlihan and the staff work their goalies on this team. They've done it for several years. They don't overplay a guy who's, years past there's been a solid number 1. Other years it's sort of 1A, 1B. And I think the situation with the goalies is great, that they don't overwork a guy and everybody gets a chance to perform. And we've seen that with Jack Lisson, and it came into play this weekend with he released McIver. He has a really solid game on Saturday. McIver gets a couple of days rest, and he's ready to go against Kitchener on Sunday.
Absolutely. All right, we want to thank our main sponsors, Sports Illustrated Tickets and Happy Dad Beverages, for bringing you this show, as well as our community sponsors, the City of North Bay, the Boat North Bay, the Moose Cookhouse, the Fox and Fiddle, and our host tonight, the Clubhouse at Gateway Golf. Make sure you check out the Battalion social media channels to find out all of the latest with Troops Trio. And don't forget, you can send your comments and questions to troopstrio@battalionhockey.com. All right, time to bring on our guest for today's episode. It's Parker Vaughan. Parker, thanks so much for joining us here today. Parker, second year with the North Bay Battalion, second year in the OHL. Just let's talk about your thoughts on being a member of the North Bay Battalion. You came over in a trade last year, but let's talk about how the season's going for you so far. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, it's been great. I've had a lot of fun so far. We've been having some good games, and it's been a lot of fun.
I got to ask you, when something like that happens on the weekend with one of your line mates going down, and you have to adjust to do like, how do you deal with something like that?
Yeah, obviously it's tough losing a line mate and a guy like that, but there's a lot of good players on our team, and it makes it pretty easy to have to adjust. You know, it's easy to play with a lot of the guys we have, so it was pretty easy.
Well, my big question is, how did Nolan Laird do in the weight room this morning after he stayed up and watched the entire game last night?
I don't know. I avoided him. I was in the earlier workout, so, you know, I think he did all right, but we'll see.
What about you? Did you stay up and watch the game?
I watched a bit. I didn't watch the whole game, but, you know, I was able to get up this morning, so that's all that matters.
Talking about the Blue Jays game, of course, like most of us staying up late. The situation with coming over to North Bay last year, what was your reaction initially when Barry told you you're in that trade?
Yeah, I was a little confused at first when I first found out because I didn't know what was going on. I heard a bunch of rumors and stuff going on, but initially it was a little bit of shock, but also I was happy because I knew the situation that was going on and what I was going to be able to do here, so it ended up being great.
And you knew Shamar, obviously,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I knew Wags was coming with me as well, so that was also a big help.
How does that affect it when you are coming over to a team where you at least know one player? You're coming over with a guy that is a veteran. You know, it's his OA season, so you know he's going to try and do his best to go out on a high note. But then you also have the fact that you're joining a team that was a pretty big rival, and you're just sort of figuring out that rivalry in your first year, and then all of a sudden you're on the other side of that rivalry.
Yeah, no, it was great. Wags helped me out a lot, being like just showing me the ropes and stuff. You know, he's been there for 5 years, and it was great to be on this side of the rivalry. I like it a lot, so it made it awesome.
And of course, this year, rivalry week comes around pretty early in the season, and you're playing against your old buddies. Well, I don't think we need to have a rivalry week when North Bay plays Barrie. It sort of comes naturally now, doesn't it?
No, yeah, it was awesome. That was super fun to be able to get 2 wins against those guys. It makes it even that much better when we played against or with a bunch of them last year too.
I think a fact of the matter is to get like Parker, enormous talent, and North Bay gave up their heart and soul, right, to acquire you. Like those guys, Wakely first, but then Van Steensel and Romani, meant so much to this community. And I think it speaks a lot to what John Winstanley, Adam Dennis felt that they needed to get back from Barrie, because those guys are heart and soul. And you're going to be heart and soul one day too in that situation. So it's just they tried to get the biggest price they could out of Barrie, and that was you, number 16, to come over in that deal. And I think that from the fans' perspective, we're so excited to get Parker here, and now this year as part of that line with Callie and Warren. Could never imagine having such a dynamic line of players that are still so young, like pre-draft. It's worked out very well for the battalion.
And what was I going to say to you about that was, you're sort of the more physical guy, right? And then, is that fair to say among the three of you? You like getting your nose dirty?
Yeah, I like getting in there. Making Cam look good. It's fun. It's fun.
Well, what about Cam? I mean, we're all sort of we had a sense in the orientation camp that this was a special player. No one gets to see Cam as closely and as well as you do. He's one of your buds now.
Yeah.
Are you impressed at what you're seeing out of this player, and what is it like to play with him?
Yeah, he's an incredible player. Just watching him, the things he does, at practice every day in the games, it's super fun to watch what he does and how good he is for such a young guy. And it's fun to play with him. It's awesome.
You played at the Under-17 World Hockey Championships last season. Cam Warren is over there now. What was your advice for him going over, if you
Yeah.
had any to impart?
Yeah, just have fun. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Wearing the Maple Leaf is a huge honor, and I think that he's going to do great there, and I'll be watching, and I just told him to keep in touch and, enjoy every minute of it.
How is it tough to play in a tournament like that when you're grouped with a lot of different guys that you've probably never played before, and you're playing against probably some of the best talent you've ever played against?
Yeah, it's tough, but also good. It's tough playing against those guys, but I like playing against those guys because it brings out the best in you.
For sure.
And, it makes it that much easier to get up for those games, playing against the U.S. and stuff like that. Having that rivalry, it just makes it that much more of a fun game to be a part of.
It's got to be sort of a whirlwind, I think, going from being drafted to getting your first your first month or so into the OHL, and then you leave the team to go play for Team Canada on an international stage. That's a lot to take in as a 16-year-old.
Yeah, it's a lot going on, but I enjoyed it, and I know Cam will do great doing it, so it'll be awesome.
Right on.
You went out west, didn't you, for the Hockey Canada this year?
Mine was.
Where was that?
Which one? Sorry.
You did some in the summer for Hockey Canada. You went to a camp.
That was in Oakville.
And what was that like? What was that experience? How many players and?
There was like 40 players, I think, two teams worth of players. That was awesome. Those guys are the best of the best for our age group in the country, and it was super amazing getting to play against and with guys of that caliber.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? Like you put yourself in that, and you say, I belong, right? I'm one of these guys. These guys don't have anything over me. This is a big compliment to your game. What do you think it was in your game that attracted the Hockey Canada folks to invite you?
Yeah, I think it was just my compete on every battle. I think my hockey IQ as well, being able to keep up with those guys and make the right play. And I think just that like gritty power forward kind of game that they wanted me to have, and that's what I brought.
Well, I think grit and power forward describes you to a T. It's not easy to bring intensity, physicality every shift in every game. How do you sort of, because you kind of conserve energy for the entire 60 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And so how do you approach the idea of being a physical forward and playing that power game?
Yeah, I think that's just the way I've always played. Trying to do whatever I can to help out my line, our team, and if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. And I enjoy it. When I'm running into guys, it kind of gives me a little bit of an adrenaline boost. And being able to take the puck from them and do all that stuff. And I know it gets them off their game, so that makes me even more happy.
Yeah. I think that's one of the similarities between the crowd in North Bay and the crowd in Barrie is both fan bases appreciate that physical style of play, don't they?
Yeah, they
get
do,
riled
definitely.
up for it.
Yeah.
Scoring your first 2 goals this past weekend, both of them coming in that game against the Peterborough Petes. Talk us through it. Let's start with the first one, getting the monkey off your back, finally getting that first goal of the season. What's going through your mind when the puck goes in?
Yeah, just a huge kind of weight off my shoulders. It was great to get that first one. Cal made a sick pass from behind the net, and I was able to just tap it in. And it was a huge relief and a big jolt of energy for me to get that one.
And then you end up getting the game winner as well. As Bob described it earlier, it was a bit of a confusing play, but why don't you talk us through the whole scenario there?
Yeah, I just drove it to the net, tried to make something happen, and then I threw it on net, and I looked, and I watched across the line, and then I heard the ref blow the whistle after it went in. So as soon as I saw him wave it off, I was not letting him take away another goal. And, I was making sure that he knew that puck was in the net.
One of your teammates, I can't remember, was in the crease, got decked by the defense and sort of...
That was Iggy.
Iggy, yeah. He was in there and just mucking it up. And Iggy is another guy who impresses me because he comes... You talked about coming to the aid and defense of your teammates. Iggy does that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. He's not afraid of anybody. He's not the biggest guy, but he definitely doesn't play like a small guy. He's a tough kid.
Doesn't back down.
Tough guy, yeah.
Yeah, one of the officials told me the league officials told me after the game, they were looking at Iggy for goal interference on that winning goal, and they were also looking at Iggy for the offside goal that they took away earlier in the game. So it just shows you he doesn't mind mixing it up around the goaltender.
No, yeah, he's not afraid of it. I love it. It's awesome.
The referees are trying to do everything in their power to deny Parker Vaughan any goals. Looking at the review 3, 4, and 5 times, there's got to be a way we can take this off the board.
I was gonna say, does the guy, if you score a goal and another guy negates the goal, does he owe you a steak after the game?
No, they're not doing it on purpose, so I don't care.
Right on. Awesome. Let's talk about the week coming up. Just before we let you go, again, you guys went 1-2 on this past weekend. Some really, really tough games. You guys got to like a lot about what's being developed and trying to carry that over into this coming week.
Yeah, we're playing good hockey. We're just sometimes not getting the bounces that other teams are getting, but we're playing the right way. The goals are going to start to come, and other than that, we've been playing, like I said, good hockey, and there's not much more you can ask for.
My final question is, and we ask this of every guest we have, every player guest we have, how did you get into hockey? How old were you? And was there a player or a style of play that attracted you to the game growing up?
Yeah, I think, I don't even remember. I was like 4 or 5. My dad got me into it. Started skating. I was able to watch my brother growing up, so that mostly got me into it. And then kind of the style, I just watched Sidney Crosby growing up. He's every kid's favorite player growing up, so I think I just tried to take away he does everything so well, so I just tried to take a little bit from that.
I'm going to change the topic a bit, and Matt, you'll be all over this, but Parker Vaughan is an established baseball player.
Are you?
He has an 80-mile-per-hour fastball.
Wow.
And
Not
then
anymore.
was a relief pitcher down in St. Thomas?
Yeah, I was in St. Thomas, yeah.
And then moved to the outfield, and he has a gun.
Awesome. Well, if you stick around in North Bay in the summer, there's a men's league team that was the 2-time defending North Bay champions, but we lost our title this year, so we might have to call you up.
Yeah, maybe. I'll make an appearance.
Okay, awesome. Parker Vaughan, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate it.
We want to thank our show sponsors, Sports Illustrated Tickets and Happy Dad Beverages, for bringing you this show, as well as our community sponsors, the City of North Bay, the Boat North Bay, the Moose Cookhouse, and the Clubhouse at Gateway Golf, as well as the Fox and the Fiddle. Make sure you check out Battalion social media channels to find out all of the latest with Troops Trio. And don't forget, you can send your comments and questions to troopstrio@battalionhockey.com. And if you can't find us on YouTube, we are now streaming on all your favorite audio services, whether it's Spotify, iTunes Music, or is it called Apple Music now? And the Google one as well. So it's all streaming there for you. If you can't stick around and watch it on the YouTubes, put it on the phone. Put it in the car. We'll take you to where you need to go. Sound good? Okay,
really
excellent.
good.
It's great.
All right.
We're getting all that for sure.
All right. Time for everyone's favorite segment. AJ's here, everybody.
I got one person clapping. It was Steve.
AJ,
And it was
One
Steve Battani. I love it.
AJ wrote that, by the way.
AJ's
Well,
not
you know,
supposed to woot himself, is
No,
he?
exactly.
Somebody has to. I know I'm pretty tired. You guys look like you all had partied all late last night.
I don't know if it was a party. It was certainly
No.
a late night.
Yeah, I
though.
don't know if it was a party either.
2:45 ending. Bad ending to the party.
Yeah.
Yes. So, gentlemen.
But few days to recover before the next Battalion game, so
Yeah, that's right. Well, we'll see what happens tonight, right? I don't know if I can do another 18 innings, so
no.
we'll see.
I wonder what the
We'll
longest
see.
battalion game, like it would be a playoff game, right? With extra
They played
overtime.
against Kingston in 2017, 2018, and it
The
went 3.
Kuzhawinski goal?
No, the one that went 3 overtimes that they lost in. It was in Kingston. I think it was Game
that's
5,
right, yeah.
first round.
It was the end of a playoff series,
Good
wasn't it?
memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was the final game.
Was that the year they
I
also
don't
had
know
a
why I
home game?
remember this stuff, but I do.
Were you doing radio for
I
that?
think I was there for that game. So
Was that the year they had a home playoff game in Sudbury?
yes.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
Oh yeah,
That
Because
was
of the
wild.
curling?
Yeah, because of
Okay.
curling.
I remember
Although we loved the curling. We loved that the curling was here. So
Yeah.
me and Brian Floyd, we went up there because we still did the music and he did the PA, and yeah, it was they just went, yeah, here you go guys, and we walked in.
It was a home game.
Yeah,
in
and then
Sudbury,
like the microphone for PA was like an old Radio Shack microphone, and and it was just like me and Brian were just looking at each other. Wow, what are they doing to us?
Thank
here?
goodness they didn't bring the wolf out though when they scored. Right?
Well, me and Brian tried to. We had a plan to like take it with us, but
Was
their
it
security
curling?
was watching us.
Or was it there was too much snow on the roof at the Gardens?
No, it was the curling.
No, but there was a game. You're right.
was
There
the
was a
World
game that
Curling-
we did get
World
postponed
Women's
because
Curling.
of they found. Remember they found a crack.
Yeah, that game
Upstairs?
just got canceled.
Yeah, that game just got canceled.
Yeah, no, that was that because I covered that all week, and it was a great event for the city. Jennifer Jones, Anna Hasselborg, all the top female curlers in the world, and it was packed. I mean, it was a great event for North Bay, great event for the Gardens, but unfortunately, the Battalion lost a game there, and they had to play one in Sudbury.
But speaking of great events at the Gardens, we've got a few coming up.
Yes, we do. You know what? We actually, maybe not at the Gardens, but right now, no, we have. You guys see the Dash auctions? I know you guys talked about it earlier,
Yeah,
but
sure.
look what I brought. Check this
Wow,
out.
that is beautiful.
Make sure we can see that in that. There we go. In that camera. There we're going. Right through it.
What a beautiful mask.
Gentlemen,
Yeah,
check
let's
that
take a
out.
look. It's got
So-
a Frankenstein theme.
It's a
or
Frankenstein theme. It will be signed by McIver and Listen. So the lucky winner will get that. And I believe the minimum bid was $500. It is at $500 right now. So the ending for that. So if you guys want to get in on that, it's Halloween. So Friday at 5:30, the goalie mask ends. And then if that's a little rich for you, we got these.
Got sticks as well.
We got these mini sticks. There's some that are signed by the team, some by the defense, some by the goalie. I believe minimum bid for these are only at $20. So
For now, right?
For now, yeah. And these things end at 5:15 on Halloween.
So people can bid ahead of time online right
Yeah,
now.
they get literally right now. Gerald's got it up on the screen right now. Go hit the QR code, follow it, put your credit card in, and spend as much money as you possibly can.
So do you know those things that Frankenstein had on his neck? They're like knobs or whatever. That's
bolts.
what's happening up here, and then you've got the
Did he
stitches.
say
I guess?
knobs?
He did.
knobs.
That's what
Yeah.
he said.
Okay, just checking.
They're knobs.
I'm
on
not
his
going to
neck.
repeat it. but that's what
I
he
know
said.
some knobs, but I don't know if we're talking about bolts or the helmet. But
And then you got the stitch, the Jerry Cheevers like stitching, like the stitches there, and then the logo on the side. But not the back plate, nothing like what McIver has with that.
Yeah, there's no Joker on the back plate.
no
yet.
Joker on the
this
back.
this mask does have an actual back piece.
It does, eh?
We just didn't put it on because we wanted to show off the front. But
Very
yeah,
nice.
that is
cool.
on Dash Auction. So make sure if you're interested to get out there and bid away.
And again, so it ends on
This Friday. So
this Friday, but
October
we have
31st.
a home game on Thursday
Yes.
ahead of that.
So Thursday night at the game, people can bid away, and hopefully we can. I would like to see the mask get up to 1,000. That'd be pretty awesome.
It's halfway there.
Exactly. So somebody out there who wants it, maybe they'll,
So this game tomorrow, is it costumes? Like you gotta.
Yes. So Thursday it's Expedia Norwegian cruise, Expedia North Bay cruises, and a Norwegian, Yeah, we're inviting. This is the first time we never really invited fans before and promoted to wear a costume. It's sort of, if it was close to Halloween and you wore one, hey, bonus kind of deal. But this time we're actually promoting it. We want you to. We're gonna have a photo booth downstairs in the main concourse. So if you've got a costume on, go get your shot in the photo booth, and then that's gonna be a way of entering your costume into the actual contest. And we will be doing. In the third period, we're going to be putting them up on the board, and the fans will be able to pick their top three. So pretty cool.
Did I ever tell you the story where I was on the Jumbotron at the Bell Center?
No.
It was a Halloween game against the Florida Panthers, Montreal, and the camera, the events camera that's inside, there was two guys dressed like Super Mario
Okay,
Brothers, and
Mario and Luigi.
they were focused on them, but here I am on the Jumbotron because I was sitting beside them.
That's awesome.
So they needed someone really scary looking to win the contest.
Apparently, I got to do I got to do the OK Blue Jays dance on top of the dugout when I was like
Nice.
11,
Last week?
12. Last week, yeah. And then I got tackled by security, yeah. All right, what else is going on?
We got, let's see, let's look at my little sheet here. We're doing Hockey for Hampers. I know we talked about this last time. It's an initiative
Hockey
with,
for hamsters.
sort of. Not really. But
I get-
hampers. You know, like we're getting food for the North Bay Food Bank.
Hampers. Food hampers.
Yes, food hampers. Yep.
Right.
And every week we spotlight. we didn't miss you last week. You know that, eh?
You guys told I showed up, but you guys told me the wrong location.
That was Matt who told you that. But last week we were collecting pasta, and this week, pasta sauce to go with the pasta. So we do have bins all in the main lobby. So when you come to the game, you can go drop them off, and we want to collect as much as we possibly can. And then, of course, Friday night, trick-or-treat night, 5 to 8. Come meet your favorite troop and come get some candy. And then on Sunday, it's our military appreciation game. A whole lot of fun where we pay respect to the military personnel. And I know that this year again we have Dennis Moore. Dennis Moore, 95 years of age, was in the Korean War. He's been a few times, and it's always a thrill to see him every year come out for the ceremonial puck drop.
Well, not only that, I've seen the videos the battalion put out of him reading the starting lineup.
Yes, he
in
has
the
done that in the
dressing
past. It's
room.
awesome.
He's done that a couple times, and the players are they're so focused on him and knowing what life he has had, and you know the things he's done in his life to see the young players listen to him and really get a sense of what he sacrificed in his life, and it's really great to see.
Exactly.
Absolutely. All right, AJ, thank you so much for joining us as always.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We're going to take a quick break. AJ is going to go mingle with the crowd. So next time that we have a live show on location, you want to be here because you can win some prizes from AJ during the intermission of our shows. All right, we'll take a quick break, and Troops Trio will be right back. Welcome back to Troops Trio. Matt Sookram with you here alongside Bob Coles and Ranjan Rupal. Guys, North Bay looking ahead to this weekend. It is just a 2-game weekend for them. Both games at home, but both tough opponents with the Sioux Greyhounds and the Niagara Ice Dogs coming in.
Yeah, the Sioux Greyhounds are coming in Thursday night, and they're a team with a lot of speed. As you'll hear in our interview with head coach John Dean, they like to have the puck. It's tough to get the puck back from them, and so you really got to come out ready to go from puck drop. We didn't see that in their earlier game here, and they fell behind. North Bay made a great rally in the third period, but the Greyhounds got the 2 points. And then Sunday, haven't seen Niagara. Niagara's very talented offensively, led by Kevin He, of course, and a lot of people had them as the best team in the Central in some of the predictions, and it'll be interesting how that plays out. But it's a big rivalry, and it should be a good test for the battalion on Sunday afternoon.
I think one of the big questions, Ranjan, is how does this team get going now without Ryder Cowley, who is their leading point scorer, without Cam Warren, who's away at the U17 World Hockey Championships. He is second in points on this team. So someone's going to have to step up. Is the real storyline going into this weekend.
Yeah, it's just like playoffs, and it's next man up. So who's it going to be? So you do the math, and you have 10 forwards, because Ryder Carey is back in, and thank goodness that Ryder Carey is back in, because he can deliver offense. He has a lot of upside potential. I would like to see Jax Pereira come up from Powassan, because I was really impressed every time he was on the ice in the preseason and also in his limited action. Saw him driving to the net and getting some good shots, hitting goalposts and stuff like that. And he's creative and he's dynamic, and he's got that that pedigree, right? The GTHL pedigree, whereas he was very successful. But yeah, no, the next man up is definitely a thing, and I feel bad for Ryder Cali, because it's off to such a great start, and it's a tough injury, and it's just a matter of I guess we'll hear what his timeline is. We don't know right now. And Cam Warren, it's like Parker talked about, it's a great opportunity for him to go, and he won't be gone long. He'll be back, and he'll bring that experience and that confidence back with him. But who's going to be line mates with Parker Vaughan? It's a good question, and you could think, I would think that a Jax Pereira could slot in, and maybe a Ryder Carey could slot in and do something with that and keep that pace and that energy up.
I think you're going to see more responsibility for guys like Dubravtsev, Pronin, and you really got to rely on your veterans to get through this week. Procession and Moses and Amadovsky and Laird. They have enough depth to get them through these games. I don't think that's the issue. I think they have a lot of depth, and as we've been talking about, they want to become that four-line team and just recycle tough shifts for the opponents. And I think they've got a lot of depth, like I say. So I think they'll be okay, and they've just got to keep playing the way they're playing. I thought they had two solid efforts, and that's all the coaches can ask, really. A 60-minute performance, which they had in both games, and next man up for sure.
Yeah, Jax Pereira, 4th-round draft pick of the North Bay Battalion, and he scored a goal in one of the 2 games that he played with North Bay earlier this year. So, and by all accounts, he's having a pretty good year down with the Powassan Voodoos right now. So, yeah, he could be a candidate.
Player of the week down there.
He was Player of the Week. That's right. So he could be a candidate to come up and fill in the time being. And like you said, Ranj, the Battalion got Ryder Carey back, and I thought it looked like he hadn't really missed a step. I thought he looked really good this past weekend, and like you said, Dubravtsev and Pronin, I thought they were skating really well. And like you said, Bob, that just shows the depth that this team has. But I wrote in the Bay Today article in the recap of the game against the Kitchener Rangers from Sunday. I said, there's going to be a point in time where this team's leadership group just completely takes over games and dominates games, and I felt like they were so close to doing that on Sunday against the Kitchener Rangers, and it does feel like this weekend coming up against 2 tough teams in the Sioux, who they've lost to already this season, and the Niagara Ice Dogs, who lead their division. There'd be no better time than this group to kind of wake up and announce that, okay, we are the North Bay Battalion, we're here to play.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think, they've had some tough losses this year. You talked about the 1-goal losses earlier in the show, and that's very true. And they're going to have 1-goal wins. And I think, they have a lot of depth, like I say, on this team. And I think once they get on a roll and they just start to feel it, as the players say, I think they're going to put a bunch of big wins together.
The goal that we scored in Kitchener was the leadership group. It was Moses working hard, winning a puck battle along the wall, where 80% of your puck battles occur is along the wall. He wins that battle. Amadovsky takes it behind the net and does a wraparound on the backhand, using Procession out front as a decoy, right? And so I think that was on the goaltender's mind, is he going to do a pass? So I got to keep an eye on Procession. But that's creativity and hard work along the wall, and I hope that goal in Kitchener, on one of the biggest stages in the OHL, is going to translate into things for them, as they know they've got to outwork the line they're up against.
Yeah, again, we've seen the Sioux already this year. We haven't seen Niagara yet. They are leading the Central Division, but they also led the Central Division for the first couple of months of the season last year, and then they were kind of just hanging on at the end there. So that's an interesting team to see coming in. But Bob, you did have a chance to catch up with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds head coach John Dean, someone that everybody in North Bay is very familiar with. Always great to catch up with John Dean. Give me your thoughts on some of the things that you guys touched on.
Well, we're going to thank Owen out there because he put all the technology together. I was in my car in Bracebridge outside of Tim Hortons. John was in his office in the Sioux, and this interview was recorded by Owen in North Bay. So I don't know how he put it all together, but he did, and let's hear what John Dean, the head coach of the Sioux Greyhounds, has to say.
Hit it, producer Gerald.
Joining us, the head coach of the Sioux Greyhounds, Mr. John Dean. Second and final visit coming up on Thursday night at the Bort Longyear Memorial Gardens against the Battalion. John, let's talk about a busy week for you guys. You got a road game in Sudbury, and then the North Bay stop, and then Oshawa on Saturday. So I know you're used to it, but how do you prepare for a road trip like this?
Yeah, for us, it's old hat, to be honest. So it's our third major road trip of the year, and we're a well-traveled team. So I do feel like we're a well-oiled machine too. We try to keep our road schedule almost identical to our home schedule, just in terms of practice times, meetings, what time we eat. In the Sioux, we eat together every game day. To make sure that our schedule is identical on the road. And then our practice week this week for us was a luxury. We had 3 in a row, which is rare for us. So it was nice. We enjoyed a fun day, and then 2 very competitive days here, the last couple, to get ready for Sudbury, North Bay, and Oshawa should be a tough road trip for us.
Let's talk about Brady Martin, your new captain. He did a great job with the Nashville team. He got, I think everyone loved that on the draft, where he was the only first round pick who wasn't at the draft. He was at his farm. And obviously he impressed a lot of folks in Nashville. He just recently got sent down. But I'm sure you're glad to have him, and a deserving choice for captain.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where his time in Nashville, it's really win-win. You obviously miss him early in the season, but he gets to experience the professional lifestyle, obviously learns what it takes to be a pro, and then hopefully pass that on to our group here in Sault Ste. Marie. But he's a very special young man. I always tell people it's really difficult to find these days someone with that level of compete and tenacity, with equal amounts of skill. But Bob, his gift is he walks into the rink with a smile on his face. Like, he just enjoys the game. He enjoys the guys. He's contagious, man. He's a breath of fresh air, and we don't want to look at Marty as the savior. We want him being someone who's joining something that we're already starting to build, and he's obviously just going to make it so much better with one, his experience at the National Hockey League, but more about what I talked about, just that personality in the rink, and remind us we're playing a boys' game here, and he reminds us of that while still putting in the work. I think that's the critical component.
Well, I saw the smile on your face when I brought up his name. So Jordan Sharon, also a player that's come up this year with your team, NHL draft pick. You had some nice things to say about him in a recent OHL.com story. So tell me about him and why he's so dangerous, do you think? Especially he's putting the puck in the net quite frequently this year.
Yeah, I think the number one thing in this league is knowing what your tools are and what your positive assets are. I think it's very difficult for young men these days to identify what's going to make them successful. Everyone wants to be the perfect player, but everyone has tools that specifically make them them. And Jordan Sharon understands who he is. He's probably one of the fastest players in the league, if not the fastest. I don't want to offend anyone on North Bay, but he's got speed to burn. He's got an NHL caliber shot, and he's already got physical maturity beyond his years. So he's a guy who plays within that. He plays with wide speed. He attacks inside the dots when he can. He gets to the blue paint, and he uses his shot at will. He doesn't try to force too many plays, and it's become extremely effective at this level. And it's also the way he needs to play to be successful at the next level. So what a great story. Learn how to use your tools and the gifts that God gave you in the right way. Do it consistently, and you find yourself on the right end of success.
Well, you had some success previously in your last game with the Battalion here. What's it going to take for you to equalize that on Thursday night?
Well, I think North Bay's playing very well. Very, very scary off the rush. Good young team that's just constantly attacking with speed. We got out of there by the skin of our teeth last time, Bobby. I don't know if you remember, but crowd got into it. A real nice comeback by North Bay. We really liked our game in North Bay. I actually talked to the guys today about it. We really liked our game there, and I think how hard we played. And it was still just an absolute nail biter. So what do we have to do? We have to limit their speed through the neutral zone. We don't let them exit their zone as clean as they always do. It seems like they're consistently tacking off the rush. They do such a great job of that. So we want to limit their speed, exiting their zone and entering ours, quite honestly. And then we want to play our game. I think, Bobby, we love to own the puck, and we want to keep it on a string if possible, but that only happens if you compete really hard. Ryan's always got his team extremely well prepared all the time, but I think also there's some fun rivalry as we coach together. And as you know, I learned a lot from Ryan early on in my career.
Always fun games. The Battalion and the Greyhounds Thursday night will be the next edition. Well, we got to thank Owen for the technology getting us through, and the guys on your end too. I'm doing the interview in Bracebridge, you're in the Sioux, and it's being played tonight. So there's the technology in 2025 for you.
Thank you, and go Jays.
Go Jays. Big win game tonight for sure. Thanks, Coach John, the Sioux Greyhounds.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, John.
And that was John Dean, the head coach of the Sioux Greyhounds. Loves coming here. He didn't give Steve Batante's food a plug, so might give him an F for that. But obviously he loves coming here. He's got a great relationship with Battalion head coach Ryan Olahan. They've been friends for years, and they love going up against each other, testing each other. The Sioux's all about speed and trying to gain that speed advantage. Battalion have a quick team too. So, and the first game was very entertaining. North Bay got some penalties. They fell behind.
Lots of penalties.
Greyhounds took advantage, but the Battalion made a big rally of it. I remember the Moses goal was a great goal, so it should be a fun show on Thursday night. And then Sunday, Niagara, a team we haven't seen yet. Always love those battles between the Battalion and the Ice Dogs. Great rivalry over the years.
So the Sioux Greyhounds will be coming into that game, coming off a game against the Sudbury Wolves on Wednesday. I have to figure out my days here, right? And that's interesting because, as John Dean touched on it, they try to keep a regular schedule because their travel is so extensive, right? How do you think that eases the players into these weeks where they do have a Wednesday, Thursday schedule as opposed to just a weekend game schedule?
Yeah, 3 and 4. They play the Wolves 6 times, so they couldn't do the schedule they have unless they're playing Sudbury a lot, because they're separated by 2.5 hours, I guess, and it's almost like a home game, if you will, for them because they're so used to it. So because when they travel, like you say, they travel a lot, and this is their 3rd long road trip. Battalion haven't done 3-game road trip yet. They'll do one next weekend down in Flint, Saginaw, and Sarnia. But the Sioux, this is their 3rd, so they're used to it, and they always get a couple of back-to-backs at home, Friday and Saturday too. They'll do that with the Battalion this year. So yeah, their schedules, it's all home or all road.
Routine so important for the players at this stage of their career, isn't it?
Yeah, so you bring up some good points, Bob, and it is tough for Sault Ste. Marie. No one travels more than the Sioux Greyhounds. They started out the season on fire. They were leading the conference there for a bit, but now they have lost 3 of their last 4 to their last 6. Brady Martin comes back from Nashville. He's a first-round pick, 5th overall to the Predators. He got into 3 games in Nashville, picked up an assist. Sometimes that can have a you would think that have an immediate impact, a positive impact, but sometimes it can sort of affect the chemistry on the team, because now you have this first-round NHL blue-chip prospect who's back in the dressing room, and you're trying to give him his space and let him do his thing and let Brady Martin be Brady Martin. And then what was giving you some success as a group of 12 forwards is sometimes is a thrown off kilter. The synergy just isn't there anymore, and I'm hoping that that's the case on Thursday. It is not often that we have a team that comes in on a Thursday night that has just played the night before. Usually both teams are well rested. So a couple of factors, a Sioux Greyhounds team that's looking to get back into the win column more frequently, that's had some struggles lately. Hopefully this bodes well for the Battalion. As we talked about, they need to continue with their winning ways to stay above 500.
Yeah, that's what he said about Brady Martin. They don't want it to be like, okay, all our problems are over now. Brady Martin's coming through the door. Yeah. He just wants, like you say, Brady Martin to contribute to the team's success rather than, the other players sort of go, oh, well, I don't have to worry about my job now. Brady Martin's walking through the door because he went, like you say, so high in the NHL draft, and he stuck it with the Predators for quite a while before being sent down.
Absolutely. And then switching gears quickly to the Niagara Ice Dogs. As we record this, they lead the Central Division at 9-4-0-1. They lead all those teams in the Central Division in terms of goals scored with 52. Randy talked about the Greyhounds coming in not being well rested off that game. Well, the Niagara Ice Dogs will be well rested when they take on the Battalion, because they get to host Brampton on Friday. And then their next game is that Sunday game against the North Bay Battalion. So both teams will have only played once before they meet each other. And it could be a very big early season matchup between these two teams. I mean, Niagara, they're 4-0 in their last 4 games, so they're coming on a bit of a heater. Again, depending what they do against Brampton on a Halloween night going into that game. But, they're led by Kevin He, a 4th-round draft pick of the Winnipeg Jets, who already has 18 points through the first 12 games of this season. That's the guy you really got to kind of circle and go, okay, he's the focal point, but the rest of this team are no pushovers either.
No, they've always given North Bay a good battle. There's a rivalry between these two teams, and you just don't really notice it because the Ice Dogs have been so bad for so long, since basically 2019. They've been stuck in the cellar, but now they've emerged, and I think they're going to go for it this year. They're going to try to challenge Brantford to come out of the East this year, and they're not done. They're going to make significant moves at the trade deadline. I don't know if you have the Ice Dog stats up there, but their goaltender, a familiar name, coming back to North Bay, and so you always wonder if the goalie's going to really stand on his head and make a big show. Charlie
Robertson.
Yes, Charlie Robertson, and so you wonder if he's going to have a great show in front of his old team and old fans and billets and whatnot. So good to see Charlie Robertson back again, but hopefully North Bay can overcome that.
I was just going to say about Charlie Robertson, he was a great complimentary piece to Dom DiVincentis before he was traded. So, and he's still in the league, and he's on a team that could go and do some special things this year. So it'll be a fun game on Sunday.
Yeah, he's 4-2-0-1 this year to start. 3.05 goals against average and a .905 save percentage. Not bad statistics for Mr. Robertson. And he had a big game in his return to North Bay the year that they traded him.
It's not been an easy road for Charlie.
No.
To be behind Dom DiVincentis, you're going to get limited duty at best. And then he goes to Niagara, team that's really struggling both on and off the ice with significant issues on and off the ice. And then he suffers an injury, and he has to rehabilitate, come back from that. And this is really his first crack starting position because they had Flores last year. So, it was tough for him to find the crease, and then he had that injury. So Robertson gets the crease. It's his, and they're going to ride him and try to make a deep run with Charlie.
Absolutely. All right, that's going to just about wrap things up for us on this edition of Troops Trio. Before we go, we want to thank Stuart McLeod for all of his work as the manager of communications and community relations with the North Bay Battalion. He's moving on to a new career venture, but he's been an instrumental part in helping us media folks over the last number of years, whether it's on game day, before game day, setting up the coaches' meetings, getting us interviews with players and coaches after the games, sending those very helpful communiques so that we can make our articles and our stats look so much better. So, Stuart McLeod, we want to thank you so much and wish you all the best on your new career. I'm sure it's been a bit of a whirlwind being employed for an OHL hockey team.
Yeah, it was always my dream as a kid to work in hockey, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity. I thank Steve, Adam, Mr. Abbott, and everybody else. It's just I'm amazed. Like, I'm so happy to be here, and I thank the players and coaches and everybody for being amazing. So thank you very much.
I got to say, Stuart, I started as PA announcer the same night Stuart started working for the Battalion. And we were both freaking out on that first game because we had, at least I had no idea what I was doing and I learned on the job, and Stuart learned on the job too. But it's, you're great on game nights. You're just fantastic. You give us a script, any pronunciation issues, any script items got to get changed. Players, how you pronounce players' names, just things like that's so-and-so's first goal in his OHL career or his first goal as a member of the battalion. We want to make sure that the player gets noticed by the crowd. So wish you the best.
Thank you.
You're a Yankees fan and you're a Washington Capitals fan,
Didn't have to
but
point
despite
that
that, you've made a valuable contribution to this team.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Well, organizations like sports organizations often measured on the ice how the players are doing, but the best organizations have strength off the ice as well, and Stu definitely part of that. And to build a winner, you got to build both on the ice and off the ice, and I think the Battalion are doing that with guys like this.
Absolutely, and you've been a big help to Troops Trio as well, so we're definitely going to miss you, but all the best on your next career.
Thank you.
Hear, hear.
We want to thank Sports Illustrated Tickets and Happy Dad Beverages for bringing you this show, as well as our community sponsors, the City of North Bay, the Boat North Bay, the Moose Cookhouse, and the Clubhouse at Gateway Golf, as well as the Fox and Fiddle. Make sure you check out the Battalion's social media channels to find out all the latest with Troops Trio. And don't forget, you can send your comments to Troops Trio at battalionhockey.com, and that's where you can find out where we are going to be next. And we know where we're going to be next. We'll be back at Boart Longyear Memorial Gardens next Tuesday. But then the following Tuesday, on November 11th, we're going to be back at the Fox and Fiddle. So make sure you circle that on your calendar. Come on out, have a meal at the Fox and Fiddle, and come say hi to us. We want to thank our camera operators, Cassidy and Jacob, our show coordinator, Owen, our producer, Gerald, our hype man, AJ Jakeman, our executive producers, Steve Battanti. For Ranjan Rupal and Bob Coles, I'm Matthew Sookram. This has been Troops Trio. Good night.